Hi, I'm Bob. I have a machine shop, welding shop, metal fabrication shop. I got machines that I've modified, every one of them. I already did the modifications on my lathe. And the other machines I got around here, I've done stuff too, which is very useful and ergonomic and time saving. I'm gonna run around the shop real quick, and then I got an Edwards 55 ton. I'm gonna show you the modifications that I made on that. Not many people have this machine, but there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot similar that maybe you could do the same thing. Okay, real quick. Shop's a little busy. I got all my stuff organized, but it's very busy. Supplies, tools, welders, spot welder, plasma cutter, horizontal mill. Hello. Alright, well, got a horizontal mill. Here's my lathe. Mill, Famco mill, really big, really heavy duty. Made a bunch of modifications to that. I'll show you later. However, here's the Edwards. Let me put this back in the stand. Here's the Edwards. It's got 3 stations. Over here, wait. I'm getting this straight now. Over here is a punch station. You can punch 1 inch into 1/16 hole through 3/4 steel, all the way down to an 1/8 inch through, anything smaller than the thickness. The width of the hole you can punch. This is the shear station. I put a light in here. You can tell it's a light for a sewing machine. You get them on Amazon. I got like 5 of these in the shop. They're fantastic. They're magnetic. Small switch on there. I'll show you. Get in the thing. Okay, here. There it is. And here's without it. Now also, it's very hard to see when you're going to shear something. I don't know if you can see the line on that. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to try and shear this right up to the line. Now, if you notice, when you put this in here, you can't really tell if you're over the line or not, because you get the thickness of the metal. So I did this. I came up with a laser. Shines a green beam through there. I got a level that had a line on it, a line level, took the lens out, made an adapter in here, put it on a pointer, made a mount, and it shines. There's about a 1/16 inch gap between these plates, and that's where the line comes down. So what I can do is put that line right on the back side of that scratch, because the line is coming down this side of the blade, so the cut is going to be on the back. There's that. Now here's something else I did. This used to have a screw right here that you screwed, and it would push this, and then it would pivot down, and it would clamp your material. That's too slow. So I came up with this. It's a lever action with a wedge, and it just, you're cut, you're up. Very simple, very quick. Magnet holds it up here. Cut this with a ball end mill, and there's a stainless steel bearing inside the end of this screw, and that rides in there, and it works very good. We'll spring there, no problem. So now I'm going to shear this thing right on that line. I'm setting it up so the shear should be right on the back side of that line. Okay, now sometimes this is pretty loud. I got a phase converter here. I'll come back over here. Sometimes this is really loud. Now you can't shear this with that plate if it's not all the way to here. It'll just flip up and flip up and bend the blade. So what I came up with is these right here, which here, I'll put them where you can see them. They're step blocks, and I got them so they fit inside each other and they make up a thickness. I got these two arms here, so what I can do is take this, put it right in there, okay, and this one will go right on top, but I'll slide it in right along the roof of this, there. Now, that's only going to come up a little bit. I also got a spacer I can use here if there's any little difference. Well, there's that. Now, ready to shear it. No problem. And there you go. Pull these out. Look at this. And it's right on the line. Can't even see it. So that works good with the laser. I put extra arms on here because the only controller was this foot thing, and that I have mounted at one station, which would be the punch station. So look at that, turn this off. Now this here is where you can see the angle iron goes. Angle iron goes through there, and this had a bar across here, which is right here, and that got in the way. As you can see, if I put this up here, you can't see where you're putting that metal. Sure, you got a light, you can't get in there, you can't see where the line is, so this comes off. These are posts I put in. There's magnets in these holes, and it just sticks on front, and all it does is guide the bottom of the angle iron to keep it square. That's it. And then this here goes down and locks down on it, but normally you run with that off. I got a big clear space here that I can see what I'm doing. Now, the punch station had issues. You used to have to take all of this off, all of the stripping material off to change this, to change the nut, because that's how you get these. You change the punch and die out with that. So what I did here is I carved a relief in there, and then this I also cut around to make it round, so when this fits in here, I put it up in that waist and I can index this back and forth. Before, you couldn't do that. You had to pull all this off. This wrench was wider, and it took like 15 minutes to change the darn punch. So that's that. So this all stays permanent on here. You don't ever have to move it. The thickness height here is the same as this, yet if I gotta do some channel, I can remove this. It's on with magnets. Okay, now the other station, the final station, is the bending station. I made this. It sits on here, and it sits level with this. There's my block. You can bend damn near anything in this. This is in case you got something long. And then I have a square to make it square. And I also have a smaller square here, because you got to bend stuff. You want it to be nice and square, but you don't really need this. This just sits on here. I have different plates for bending different things. I've got this big one here, in case I want to bend some 3/4, that'll do it. No problem. And then I got a handle here, which it didn't have. And that goes through a pulley system down here, which then goes inside. This hooks to the one in the back. And then this here, the punch is run off the foot press, because you usually need 2 hands to hold your work. And then it's got a dimple up here you put in your countersink, and it centers it. It's very simple. Now, if it's smaller than this, I made this. It's a stripper. You put this in here. Once it goes down, you put this in all the way up, pulls up, strips it off, no problem. That's the only downside of having this so wide. But with this so wide, these dies can lift through just barely, but they fit through here. So I can change them out. There's the box of them. Change out each size one up to 1 1/16. And you don't have to pull any of this off. It's fantastic. Otherwise, it's a great place to mount machinery. You know, got a big flat surface on top. That's about it. I sent all these ideas into Edwards when I got it, and well, they didn't get back to me. And that's been 20 years. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. Now, another thing is you got 220 pounds of pressure here. This center plate moves up and down through these two 1-inch side plates. As it does move, this down here, your cylinder pushes down, and if you look over here, you'll see 2 bolts. There's your leverage. The bottom left one is the pivot. The center one is mounted through what they call the whale, which is this piece right here, and you get effectively 220 tons of pressure to squash or bend or straighten anything you want in between here. If I pull this off, I got these plates which center that. They're on pins, so it's perfectly centered every time. You just drop this in. It's centered. You don't have to worry about it. But now you pull these off. You pull this off. You've got this, and you've got probably about 8 inches there where you can squash anything you want. I've bent forks, motorcycle forks. Put a couple of V blocks. Pull it off, put some on here. I've straightened bumpers. This is a great utility. You can also put a stripper in here which will cut a notch. So they'll cut notches out of angle iron or whatever. It's made for angle iron. I don't do that, so I don't need that. When I have something short on the shear, I forgot. I got this guy right here. That goes on a piece if it's thin. Now I didn't do it with the 1/2 inch. With this stuff because it's so thick. You got to use the shoes. You got to use these. But when it's thinner, this thing right here goes on it. Slam that down. Now you can shear. No problem. If there's any questions, leave them. I'll see what I can do. But that's my Edwards. For what it's worth, it's old, it's American made, and it kicks butt. This has been Bob in my machine shop. Thank you.